Hello everybody, I'm Johnny Macabre, the creep of the class. I'm here at Horror News Net TV, and today I want to talk about Resident Evil movies. Now, I think at this point everyone is aware of the live-action films. There's been 6 or 7 of them at this point, I forget which, but that series has been pretty much wrapped up at this point. I mean, well, it's a fair point. The subtitle on a film, The Final Chapter, has never actually resulted in the final installment in a franchise. They did at least leave off a satisfying conclusion with the last Resident Evil movie they put out. Now, I'm not actually going to be talking about the live-action ones, though, because the live-action ones, while they're good popcorn flicks, I don't think anyone can really call them good movies. They're entertaining, to be sure, in the same way that Michael Bay's Transformers is entertaining, or you just like things blowing up is entertaining. It's not good cinema, it's just good, dumb fun, basically. But no, I'm not talking about those movies because those movies they're separate. They're separate from the video games. Little do some people know, but there are actually 3 Resident Evil films that take place alongside the video games in the same universe. And these are actually the CGI films: Resident Evil Degeneration, Resident Evil Damnation, damn glare, and the just recently released Resident Evil Vendetta. Yeah, these are 3 films that have come out over the course of, when was the first one put out? 2008. So they've come out over the course of the last 3 years. So I guess they're averaging one every last 9 years. They're averaging one every 3 years there. And they're actually, if you love the video games and actually like enjoy the whole story and the universe, these are definitely some movies you want to check out. They actually have the same characters from the video games. All of them have Leon as a main character, and they also include other characters as well. Degeneration is the first one that came out. It has Leon, and also brings back Claire Redfield, Chris's younger sister. And it actually sees it's the only other canonical appearance of the G-Virus, other than Resident Evil 2. So that was definitely interesting to see that pop up again. A little bit of a slower paced movie. It basically sees a outbreak at an airport, and it leads directly into Resident Evil 5, the video game. Definitely, I love this movie, but the movie that I love a lot better is Resident Evil Damnation. Again, this one sees Leon Kennedy, also sees the return of Ada Wong. And this shows the only time that the BOWs have actually been used in a war. It has a fictional Eastern European country. What's the name of it? It doesn't even say on the back. But it's a fictional Eastern European country where a civil war has broken out, and both sides of the conflict have gotten a hold of BOWs. On the side of the rebels, they have actually gotten a hold of Las Plagas modified liquors that can actually be controlled by a Las Plagas host, although for only a temporary period of time before the Las Plagas host finally takes over the victim. The Las Plagas parasite finally takes over the victim and turns them. But nonetheless, the rebels have access to these special liquors, and the corrupt country government has a couple surprises as well. This one is probably my favorite of the 3, just because it does have a lot more action to it. And this one leads specifically directly into 6. So the first one takes place between 4 and 5. Second one takes place between 5 and 6, and you can guess the third one takes place between 6 and 7. The 6th one actually sees the return of 2 other characters alongside Leon. It sees Chris Redfield, and it sees, what's her face? Rebecca Chambers. I was having a brain fart with the name there. Who we really haven't seen since the first Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 0. But being the only time she was ever a playable character, I think. Was she in 6? She might have been in 6. I think she was in one of the scenarios in 6. Yeah, but this one here sees basically this arms dealer who has a special variation of the T virus, where the creatures and zombies are actually able to recognize friend from foe and actually be controlled in this manner. So it's definitely an interesting one. This one, I think, was done by a different studio than the first two. But it's definitely an interesting movie. I really liked it. And this one leads directly into 7. So they're really interesting films. They're all readily available. In fact, I know that Damnation and Vendetta, which Vendetta just came out this past September, they're both readily available at FYE. Degeneration at this point is, I believe, out of print. You might need to look online for a used copy. But they are all, if you love the video games and you actually enjoy the story, not just the gameplay, I would say, you definitely have to go out and look up these films, because they're actually, they're actually with the same characters. They're set in the video game universe. They're not these weird spin-offs that we got from Anderson there. Yeah, so definitely check them out. If you're a fan of the franchise, you gotta see these things. They just don't get the press of the live action films, unfortunately. I mean, they're over here in the U.S. I don't know what they did with them over in Japan. I know over here in the U.S., I mean, the direct-to-DVD, they never got any theatrical run, nothing like that. Then they don't get too much press. I mean, I have to actively look up news on them. It doesn't really come to me very readily. But they are still pretty easy to get a hold of. So check them out. Once again, I'm Johnny Macabre, the creep of the class. I'm here at Horror News Net TV. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you all next time.